It is a victory Monday, man. I don't know how you feeling. I got Caleb in the studio with me, or guest co-host, rising sophomore at The Ohio State University. I got Cleveland Kate on with me right now. She's at the crib. What's up, Cleveland Kate?
It's Victory Monday, baby!
And Caleb, what's up, Caleb?
I mean, yeah, everything's good. Victory Monday, you know. Hard not to feel great right now after the Brownies proved a lot of people wrong this weekend.
Yeah,
proved a lot of people right, too.
Yeah.
Hey, I told Marshawn that Wednesday show, I said that the Browns were going to win. I said it's either going to be a shootout or it's going to be close. And the Browns are going to win within 3 points. I'm like, it's going to be within 3 points. And I was right. It was within 2 points. So I was at the game yesterday. So it was a little crazy being at the game. You know what, guys? I honestly think I kind of prefer to be at home watching the game because there's too many distractions in person. Do y'all get distracted at the game very easily?
Actually, yeah, especially like at OSU this year. The horseshoe can be a little distracting because there's just so many people, I guess, in that big of an area. But I personally prefer watching it at home too, just because you get the announcer perspective also. So when you get like usually we'll have like Romo on CBS and stuff like that. And I personally like watching it at home more anyway. So, but in person is cool because you get all the fan reaction.
Yeah, a lot of booing, which is something that was a big deal. Kay, how about you? You like watching it in person, or you like being at the game, or watching it at home?
You've been at games with me.
Yeah,
I have ADHD. I can't just sit there for the whole. I got to get up and pace and throw things, and especially when they play like they did last night. Like that Thursday night game, we went 2-1 bad because they didn't do anything stupid that made me want to yell. But when they do stupid things, I can't just sit there.
Caleb, she was TikToking the whole time. She was making TikTok.
She was.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay, you're big on TikTok?
I don't know how you define big.
So, Caleb, that means you got to start following her on TikTok.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm going to have to.
Well, you don't have to. How old are you? So. Are you over 18? It's probably best you don't.
I'm 19. Thank you very much. I'm 19.
All right. Well, some of my posts are about alcohol, and you're not old enough to drink, so you probably won't understand them. So, but that's okay. You can follow me.
I'll give it a follow after the show. Then I'll give it a follow after the show.
So, Cleveland Kate, let's start with you. Let's go ahead and get some of your thoughts out about the game yesterday and the close victory because, you know, when Lamar went out, you know, I wasn't cheering for him to be hurt because Lamar is one of my favorite players, you know, outside of a Cleveland Browns uniform. But when Lamar went down and they carted him off, we're like, hey, we're about to win this game. This is going to be easy. We're going to be able to kick their butt. Let's do this. And then.
First of all, who's we? Because we certainly didn't know who their backup quarterback was.
Yeah, I still thought it was Trace McSorley, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, that's not Trace, he black. I was like, who is this guy? I didn't even know who Kyle Huntley was. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, he plays like Lamar? He runs like Lamar? I'm like,
yeah. He came from Green Bay.
It's like Scooby-Doo. You take off the mask and it was Lamar.
Yeah, we played him before. He was in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and we played him that year, and Brett Huntley started that game.
Did he beat us?
I don't remember. I can't go back in the past. The past is the past. I can't.
I think this is a different Huntley, though.
Are you sure?
I think Brett Hundley was from UCLA because this one is he's a younger guy. He went to Utah though.
All I know is we ain't had no film on him. We didn't prepare for him. It took the defense a little while to adjust for him. The biggest thing that I noticed from a total game perspective is that Harbaugh definitely won the adjustment battle with Stefanski. He made an awful lot of adjustments in the second half that hampered our offense. We did not adjust to those, and we did not adjust our – don't be commenting in the comments about my silliness.
That is I got my mic off. That is
and the defense just got tired. Jr. Plain and simple. The defense just got tired of being out on the field because the offense couldn't get anything done. Luckily, they got enough done in the first half that it didn't matter, but I just felt like Stefanski got outcoached this week.
This week?
We won, so I guess I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy that we won, but that's what the second half looked like to me.
Yeah, because I didn't think we was going to win that game at a certain point because they were cooking.
So
Did you
I
see my
probably
tweet?
have a little bit of a different perspective than you guys because I watched the first half and I'm like, oh, we're chilling. Like no Lamar, up big at half.
We
And
got this.
I kind of, I'm not gonna say dozed off a little bit, but wasn't exactly like locked in during the fourth quarter. And then I looked up and out of nowhere, my roommate's like, dude, like they might win right now. And of
That's
course,
because you're young.
The first play after was the onside kick, and I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Which they recovered.
We're up 24-10, and my husband's like, oh, we got this. And I'm like, it ain't enough. He's like, what do you mean it's not enough points? I said, it's not enough points. He goes, what if we were up 45-10? I'm like, still not enough points.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately.
It's not enough points. I've been to this rodeo. I've seen them lose games that they led from jump. I've been around too long. There is no lead that is enough with this team. It was barely enough yesterday.
I think that, and also, and Cleveland K, you already, alluded to this a little bit, but the continued story that we have of we get out coached in the second half. Like, how many times has this? And I'm not, calling for Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's our guy. He's the guy. But in this whole era within this past 2 years is always the recurring theme of, we have these big first halves, and this wasn't even like one of the biggest first halves that this Browns team has had, but it was enough to, give us some solid momentum going in the second quarter and enough to obviously win the game yesterday, I guess. But we have to find ways to be able to make adjustments in the second half. Like you said, John Harbaugh was able to do that. And That's why they almost came back and won that game yesterday. So if we
want to. Did you see any of that Bears and Packers game last night?
No, I didn't see any of it.
Packers know how to do that. Bears owned that field for the first 2 quarters. Halftime comes. That's a whole different Green Bay team in the second half, winning 45-27 or whatever it was. That was a whole different Green Bay team. That's a team that's coached by someone who knows how to make adjustments.
And that's another young coach too.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur. He hasn't been there for too long either.
No, but he knew what to do last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the making adjustments. The adjustments were not made, and that allowed them to come back in. Baltimore just looked like, just the Baltimore of old, even though Lamar wasn't at the helm. I'm like, there was no difference in that team to me. At first he came out, he was a little shaky. You're like, oh, okay, we got this. Like I said, I was sitting at the game, and I'm thinking that it was Trace McSorley. And I'm like, I'm thinking at first maybe he had on, the sleeves down. Yeah. And then I'm like, hold on, y'all, because I'm like, I think he black.
Yeah, I think Huntley played a game earlier this year against the Bears, I want to say.
Was it preseason?
No. It was the regular season game. Because I think Lamar had COVID.
Oh, Lamar always has COVID. That's nothing new.
He wasn't, and, Huntley, wasn't, crazy in the game because, obviously, when you have a player like Lamar, you're going to have a big drop-off. But he does have, a very similar play style to him, which is why I think the Ravens – They didn't after that first drive when he had a couple of errant throws, but they really didn't miss a beat because they can run their offense the same way that they will when he's out there anyway. So
Willie said it could have been worse. At least our team didn't lose by 29 points. Kate, did you see that comment?
Yeah.
And nobody stepped on the logo. Yeah, after stomping on the other team's logo. Hopefully, it'll be another win for the Browns over the Raiders as team next week. But this game, it passes so fast when you're in there in person. It's hard to remember a lot of plays. And I was not sick this time. I felt better. I was watching. I was very engaged. But, the action moves so fast. And with this offense, you saw a little bit of the same. You saw that very opening possession that they went nowhere fast and they were booed. And today, that booing has been a subject of a lot of people. How do y'all feel about booing? I feel like, you should be able to boo the team. You're paying for a product that's being put out there that's not very good. Why not boo? Get that team's attention because they're paying attention. Why not boo to get them going?
All right. Well, first of all, I have to correct myself. It's Tyler Huntley. His first name's Tyler. I don't want to be calling him Brett, even though I want to call him Brett. Secondly, I'm not a fan of booing unless you're booing an official. And mostly that's because you're out in public. So, if one of my kids is doing something stupid, I'm going to take him to task for it, but I'm not going to do it in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? I can boo my family, when we're in private, but not in public. I don't like fans booing players out in public, out at a game. I just don't like it. I think even when I'm really unhappy with the way they're playing, they're the ones on the field bleeding and sweating and running and doing and whatever, and I'm sitting in the stands with a hot dog and a beer. I mean, I think there are other ways to voice your displeasure with what's going on than booing them at a game.
Yeah, personally, I'm also not the biggest fan of, booing the home team just because, I mean, I don't know, just something about you got to stay loyal. You got to stay loyal to your guys. And
You're
I know
still loyal. You still there. I personally don't boo, but I see why people are doing it. I didn't join in.
I
see why people are doing it.
I get why people were booing, but also I think, like, after a certain point, you kind of have to put it into perspective. Like, yes, this season has been kind of a disappointment, and the booing, because it was the first drive. So, I mean, this has been building up for, weeks at this point since we haven't really had a well put together game in I don't even know how long. But
since Cincinnati.
Yeah, since Cincinnati. So I get it kind of felt like it was building up towards this, but I'm just not a huge fan of, especially off rip. Like you don't really know how the rest of the game is going to go. I mean, and we're letting the offense have it like out of nowhere, which we have to remember where we came from. Like the Browns this was an 0-16 team just a few years ago. Like, and now, yes, it's been a disappointing season, but we're still right there in the hunt for the playoffs. I mean, we're still in the hunt for the division if we can string together a few wins, at the end of the season here. But yeah,
we're leading the division, almost.
I could do without the booing.
What'd you say, Kate?
We're like in the best position, and we picked up a game on everybody in our division this week because they all lost. And that helps us with tiebreakers. It helps us with division record stuff. We're still behind Baltimore, but we own the tiebreaker now.
Yeah.
And then we got Cincinnati. We've already beaten Cincinnati once. We got them again. I mean, we're in a good position.
We're in a prime spot to still win the division, and even if not, we're still in a good spot to make the playoffs with the matchups that we have right now. I mean, Oakland this week, that's huge because they're another team that's right in there. I think they're 6-7 right now, but they're right in the wild card hunt with us as of right now.
Yeah,
we got to worry about the Los Angeles Chargers, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals. If we beat the Bengals, then it doesn't matter. But those are the three teams that we got to worry about as far as getting a wild card spot if we don't win the division. I would prefer to just win the division so that I don't have to worry about that stuff. But those are the teams that have the same record we do or one game better that we got to worry about.
Yeah, I was going to say, we really do have a great shot to win the division. The only game that I'm not, Green Bay is Green Bay. They're still the Packers. I'm not going to go into that game with a whole lot of hope, I guess.
No, but if we believe on any level that this team can not only win the division but get to the playoffs and get to the AFC Championship game, you've got to beat a team like Green Bay. I mean, they're beatable.
Yeah, you got to isolate what their weaknesses are. You already know that Aaron Rodgers.
You know what I mean? Like, I know they're 10-3, but they've lost 3 games. So you can still get to them. You can't be afraid of them.
You got a game plan for them.
Yeah.
This is your scouting department. This is what everybody gets paid for. So, now.
Yeah, I know Denver is 7-6, but they're not getting to the playoffs.
See, but Denver also plays Cincinnati this week, which is a very
Denver's sitting behind the Chiefs at 9 and something, and the Chargers. They're the third team in that. And while I know you can take 3 teams from a division, I don't see it happening. I'm not worried. If Denver does get in, it's because the Chargers did it. You know what I mean?
I think LA is going to do it, though. I think they finally figured it out this year. So, I'm not worried about Denver either, though, to be honest. But I'm just pulling for them this week because they play.
I thought they would be better than they are. They have really let me down. I expected more from them this year. I'm just trying to figure out why Lamar had the same number of carries in his limited action as my running backs did the entire game.
And he had more yards, box, man.
And he had more yards. We actually threw more. Baker threw well yesterday.
Yeah, I think in the first half, definitely. He was very accurate in the first half.
He had almost 250 yards. Jarvis was over 100. I can't remember the last time I said out loud that Jarvis had over 100 yards.
Jarvis had over 100 yesterday?
At 111.
Honestly, without OBJ, I think he's really kind of stepped up into the role that he had before we got Odell. Like, where he just is. I mean, he's at least been the only receiver that has made consistent plays, even though DPJ had a ridiculous catch yesterday. You got that toe tap? That was probably crazy in person. But,
yeah. Everybody was going on.
But the past, I mean, since we traded Odell or released Odell, I feel like Jarvis has had a good string of games.
Mm-hmm. He had his first receiving touchdown, which is really hard to say in week 13.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong lines. DPJ had almost 100. Jarvis only had 40 yards. I was looking at the wrong page. I was looking at the last Baltimore game, not this one.
Yeah.
But he still had a touchdown. He and Austin Hooper both had touchdowns yesterday, which was huge.
Yeah, I think him just being back in the offense in general is definitely something that we need. I mean, because he's just such a big playmaker. You can put him in the not all the time with the Wildcat because we saw, that fumble a few weeks ago and what happened there. But he has to be an integral part of this offense, though, for us to. I didn't realize that David Njoku was our leading receiver until
until they announced that he was in COVID protocols.
And then I went
by the way, he's your leading receiver. What?
Yeah. I saw, and it was only like 400 yards. So I was like,
you could have been a receiver on this team.
Yeah, I mean, week 13, you could pay me to go stand out there and just get some cardio in and just go out there and run some routes. I mean, so hopefully Jarvis can stay involved. I like that DPJ was able to get involved like he was this week. Keep that going.
He's been hurt so much. I was so excited to see him play that early in the year, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, that Shakeback Media Group's trying to test me, Rachel.
Well, we got to go to break.
I said the Packers were going to be trash, and they were for a couple weeks, and now they've figured it out. We'll see how they do.
We're going to take a break right quick. You're listening to Her in the Huddle, Victory Monday edition on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Medical help, but their symptoms are not recognized as being COVID-related. The impact on patients' health can range from mild to totally debilitating. After the initial COVID infection, there are several symptoms that may indicate long-haul COVID or COVID-19 syndrome. These symptoms are shortness of breath, coughing and fever, fatigue, exhaustion, brain fog, atypical chest pain and palpitations, behavioral health issues like depression and anxiety, difficulties with cognition and memory, insomnia and other sleep problems, generalized pain and muscle aches, joint pain and impaired mobility, persistent loss of smell and taste, headaches, diarrhea, skin rashes. To receive more information on post-COVID or long-haul syndrome, visit WOVU.org. Click on the banner at the top of the page and complete a brief survey. This message is brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United. Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And remember, you can give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can listen to us at WOVU.org. You can also download that WOVU app so you can take us with you on the go. And in studio with me, I have Caleb Blake, rising sophomore at The Ohio State University on break. How you doing, Caleb?
Oh, I'm great. Just happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome back home, man.
Yeah, I hadn't been home in a minute, so Columbus was treating me right, though. So.
That's good. That's good. Happy to have you in the studio here. Let's talk about this defense, man. Myles Garrett. If it wasn't for Myles Garrett, who was a star of the show yesterday. We had a few standouts on defense, but if Myles Garrett did not scoop and score and strip sack and every other stat he had on that particular play, we don't win that game.
No, not at all. I mean, but that's, that's why he's our franchise guy. That's why he's a generational, I guess, generational talent. The way, I mean, that was a ridiculous play. Like, how many guys in the league can get a strip sack, pick it up themselves, and run it back for a touchdown?
Not too many, so I was so happy. Yeah. I'm like, go, big boy, go.
I saw that was his first career touchdown.
I know.
Crazy.
That's why it's even more special, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he creates so many plays for our defense. Yeah. Like, it's good that he can finally reward himself, I mean, because he deserves it for as much he's been doing for us for the past 5 years. So. And
he is now the official sack leader, single season sack leader for the Cleveland Browns. So he holds that record. So congratulations, Myles. Denzel Ward had a key stop on 4th and 6. He out there laying out the wood. That one hit, I can't remember on what play that was. But
it was reminding me of the his hit at Ohio State when Gus Johnson was like, "You got barbecue back there?" Like when he played Maryland. Oh my! I mean, he lit that dude up. Denzel played really recently. I'm really going to see him playing like a high level again, especially because all the injuries and things that he's dealt with. So, and he's really the leader of our secondary. You look at, we're very young. I mean, Denzel's young too, but. Guys like Greedy, guys like Greg Newsome.
Jadeveon Clowney stepped up too yesterday.
Everybody, I thought, overall, it was a really great effort from the defense as a whole yesterday. So, and JOK's back. I mean, that guy just continues to be – he's so fast. Like, he makes 1 or 2 plays every game, and you're just like, how did he do that?
Yeah, you heard his name called a few times, and I'm like, this defense is getting it done. Unfortunately, offense didn't provide any cushion. So every time defense went out there, they had to make a play, and they literally did. Baltimore is going to Baltimore. They're going to be able to get their points. They're going to catch up a little bit. They're going to make it close. But that defensive performance was one of the best that you ever seen. Kate, what did you think about the defense yesterday?
Well, I think Grant Delpit doesn't get enough credit for what he's doing at safety. He had a very nice game yesterday. And I loved that Myles sack record came on a strip sack that he took into the touchdown, because one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is that the defense is working really hard and they're getting really tired of being on the field. And they're just like, you know what, the last game against Baltimore 2 weeks ago, took the ball away 4 times. Now they're like, not only are we going to take it away, we're just going to score ourselves. We don't trust the offense to get us points. You know what? I'm going to take the ball away, and then I'm just going to get my own 7 points. Well, 6 points. I was upset, I think, more with the missed field goal. I think that was the shortest missed field goal in McLaughlin's career. Shenanigans. But the defense, the only issue I had with the defense is you could tell in the fourth quarter that they were just getting tired. They gave up a couple big plays because they had been on the field so much. I was trying to look up time of possession. And I hate when they split it onto 2 different.
We had it all the first half, pretty much.
The first half, I was going to say, there was a point in time when we were just dominating possession. I mean, and that's what we're built to do. I mean, even somehow they still stopped the run game, yet we were able to kind of control, having the ball and keeping it out of Lamar's hands. Before he got hurt at least. But it's the same old story with this offense, and the defense continues to play well in the first half, yet at the end of the game they're out there for so long that they're just gassed.
Because the Ravens started cooking, and then all of a sudden the Browns started to have to make those plays. But where was the offense at making those plays on offense? And it was not.
Shout out to Dustin Colquitt, who had to step up and got here at the last minute with the Scottish Hammer being in COVID protocols. He did a very nice job for punting yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he filled in very admirably. I mean, tough when you can't have the Scottish Hammer out there, also just because he has one of the coolest nicknames of probably any punter ever. But, I thought Colquitt was great yesterday, too.
Yeah, man, how we don't got no punter, man? I'm like, this doggone COVID, man. I cannot wait until it's over and we can go back to real life. They was talking about that there's something out there, possibly like a chewing gum. You chew it for 5 hours, it cures COVID.
You chew it for 5 hours?
Yep, that's what I'm hearing.
It's kind of a treat. I mean, cool with me.
Lord.
5 hours for, you just be out for everything or for the rest of it? Basically, that sounds good.
You know,
So you guys would say
the only stat on defense that I can really point to is, again, the Ravens were 3 for 4 on fourth down. And I think a lot of those were late in the game as well. It's another sign that the defense is getting tired because we are giving up a ton of fourth downs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, third and fourth down, I think we could still definitely be better. I mean, those are just big plays that we have to make too in order to. I want to say to give the offense more opportunities to be on the field, but it's really just more imperative that the defense gets off the field so they can rest with the way we look offensively right now. So.
Time of possession was 26 minutes to 34. So we dominated time of possession. But I think, again, the stats I get don't break it into first half and second half. I'm willing to bet that it was heavily loaded in the first half.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Because we dominated the time of possession in the first half because we were cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my problem with the game like yesterday, and really – like we've had a lot of these 2 years with Stefanski, when you can't close a game out, when you can't put your foot on the gas and just keep going, you can let a team back in like we did with the Ravens yesterday. And when you're playing someone like Denver or the Raiders or even at some point Green Bay, that's different than when you're playing someone in your division. I feel there's a whole different emotion involved when you're playing the Bengals, the Steelers, or the Ravens, where if you give them an inch and let them get back in, the emotion takes over for them more than it does other teams and can help propel them even further into catching you and passing you up. And that emotional shift in a game is what you can't afford to do, especially in this division. And I think a lot of the divisions are that way. But with the number of divisional games we still have left, they have got to figure out a way to play with the lead in the fourth quarter. And I don't mind being conservative. I don't mind making sure that you're holding onto the ball and that you're not turning it over. And I know we want them to just run, but 3 yards is still only 9. And they're going to throw 9, 10, 11 men in the box because they know you're going to run. So you've still got to mix in some passes so that your running attack works. And the mix of play calls in the fourth quarter when we have a lead isn't what it needs to be. I think it's a little too conservative, and I'd rather just keep scoring. Just do what Ohio State does. Put your foot on their neck and just keep going. And we don't do a good job of that.
Yeah, honestly, I completely agree with you, Kate. I think that we should, it's clearly not working when we're trying to be conservative in the second half. Because if it was working, then we'd probably be a lot better than 7-6 right now. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's also tough because, we have the whole thing going on with Baker and his injuries. And I know he's hurt, even though he looked a lot better yesterday than I thought, in previous weeks. But, after a certain point, we can't just keep doing, run on first down when they have the box stack, run on second down. You put him in a 3rd and 7, situation, and we're really going to run a screen, or it's just, he's probably going to get sacked. So we should just call the plays as, we're calling them in the first half. We got to just stay consistent with our game plan all the way throughout. Because I would much rather have just an absolute blowout where we just have no mercy, like who cares, whatever, than, we get too conservative like this and we keep letting these great teams come back into the game. Because honestly, the Ravens, if you look at it, let Lamar be in on that last drive, and who knows what would have happened. You got Justin.
Yeah, I'm looking at our record so far, game by game. 4 games. We lost the last game to the Ravens by 6, to the Steelers by 5, to the Chargers by 5, and to the Chiefs by 4.
And we didn't score
more than 17 less than points. A touchdown in 4 games. You put one more touchdown on the board, and you're 11-2.
And think about those games you scored less than 17 points as well.
Yeah, yes. We're
in 3 of them, yes.
In one case, we're 2 steps away from being
10-10,
and then we're also 2 steps away from being like the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
We just need more consistency throughout the entire game.
Yep.
A game I think they're going to get it out to a fast start in Green Bay.
Really?
I think it'll be one of the starts where you'll be like against Kansas City or against the Chargers. I think they're going to get up for that game. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's on Christmas Day in Green Bay.
You know,
Yeah.
I will say this though, and even though he's been hurt, like Baker finds ways to get up for big games. I think that's a game that no one is going to be expecting us to win.
Nope, not at all. Nobody.
Well, I
mean,
think it's almost better
nobody.
that they're on the road, right? Because the Green Bay guys are going to sleep in their own house, in their own bed. They're going to wake up on Christmas morning with their wife and their kids or whatever, and they're going to have to drag themselves away from all that to go to the stadium. And the Browns are already angry. We're on the road. We're angry. I need to wake up with my family today. I'm ready to play. Let's go. Then after that, we get the Steelers on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, these next few games are just crazy. 2 Saturday games.
Yeah.
And then what? Then Monday Night Football. Do we have any more Sunday games left?
I think I want to say Cincinnati.
The Bengals, the end of the season.
I think that's a 1 o'clock game.
If they don't flex it, it'll be interesting because when they did the schedule this year, everyone's doing divisional opponents the last 2 weeks. So depending on which races come down to it, and ours is definitely a division that may come down to that very last week, we may get flexed. I hope not. I'd rather just play at 1 o'clock and nobody needs to watch, and it'll just be Cleveland, just Ohio watching, and nobody needs to worry about that. But that could be a good game. And there's a couple other. There was the AFC East matchups could come down to something as well. So.
Oh, yeah,
we'll see. The NFC teams are pretty much running away with those divisions. They got 2 and 3 game leads in those divisions. They're going to be hard to catch. The AFC divisions are all still pretty close.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to see that on a year when a lot of the NFC teams are, I think the 7th seed in the NFC is less than 500 right now. They're 5. I want to say it's the Saints. I'm not totally, or maybe it's Washington.
So Dallas has 9. Green Bay has 10. The Buccaneers have 10. The Cardinals have 10. So your next 3 seeds would be the Rams with 8 wins.
They play
the 49ers with 7 wins. And then there's Washington, Philly, Minnesota, Atlanta, and the Saints all with 6 wins. It could be the Saints based on tiebreakers and strength of schedule. 5 teams with under 500.
Why can't that just be the AFC?
Could be a wild card team.
That was the AFC last year.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to take a break right quick. You're listening to Her and Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
United States could soon have a pill to treat COVID-19. The pharmaceutical company Merck has requested approval from the Food and Drug Administration to begin distributing a COVID-19 pill. This comes after Merck and Ridgeback recently conducted a study with the oral antiviral molnupiravir. It showed the risk of hospitalization and death cut by half in a trial involving patients with mild to moderate COVID-19. While this is big news, the pill will not come cheap here. It could cost up to $700 in the United States, but as low as $20 in other countries. Some may even distribute the pill for free. It's worth investigating alternatives to vaccinations, as well as discussing their pros and cons, which includes cost. Learn more about the COVID-19 pill at the Long Haul Kickoff event on Saturday, November 27th. This is WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Yo, boy. Play Miami, but I don't think Jimmy Butler's playing. Yo, boy. I don't care.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
Yo, boy.
That's your boy. He said, what?
Is that DJ Chris Styles causing trouble in the studio?
5.9 FM.
No,
oh, you just saw your boy?
Will ever say that.
Oh, I saw my boy.
DJ Chris Styles.
You know we're live, right?
Kate says hello, yes. You know we live.
All right, as long as you know we're live. I don't want you saying something about Chris that you're going to regret later when it's on the air.
I hate Urban Meyer.
He's talking about his
hoodie.
Or Urban Meyer. Ain't nobody listening to Chris.
Yeah, but he would not allow.
Do you see Urban wouldn't shake Vrabel's hand after that game yesterday?
Oh, he wouldn't? Why not?
Oh, they got beef.
Yeah.
Didn't Vrabel take a swing at him in practice when he was at Ohio State?
Really? What?
I heard that was a thing. Caleb should know.
Nobody.
Caleb, did you hear what Kay said?
What's that?
That Mike Vrabel took a swing at Urban Meyer when he was at Ohio State.
Took a swing in what way?
I guess
like physically wanted to threw hands at him.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like Mike Vrabel's like a like he's a
I know they
guy.
didn't like each other.
You know anything about that, DJ Cristal?
After the stomp-in Tennessee put on Jacksonville, he went over there and he was like, nah.
They shook hands.
Yeah.
It was a shake. It just wasn't no.
There was
Hey,
definitely no
George.
love lost in that press
It was
conference
just
yesterday.
It was just a shake.
Hey, George.
Because it was a very quick just handshake.
Oh, okay. So Urban was on that staff before. What does that sound, Cleveland Kate?
No, I was big quarterback.
It's my husband putting groceries away.
Tell Joe to be quiet. It's coming through air. Oh my God. Joe. So anyway, so Urban Meyer was with the Ohio State staff before he became coach.
Or Vrabel or
No, Urban Meyer.
Well, yeah, he was like our head coach in 2014. So
no, I'm talking about. So Kate, are you alluding to when Mike Vrabel was a player with Ohio State? Okay, so she's saying that Mike Vrabel was a player with Ohio State.
Oh, and he swung at Urban Meyer as
I guess Urban Meyer had a stint with Ohio State before.
Honestly,
which I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I mean, whatever. I kind of like Mike Vrabel, honestly. I think he's like he's a very good coach. He's done a great job with the Titans, but he's also like a very passionate guy. And he played linebacker, so all linebackers are crazy. No offense to anybody out there, but I mean,
Vrabel was a defensive assistant coach on Urban Meyer's staff for the 2012-2013 season.
Okay, and that makes sense.
That's when things happened.
I could see them butting heads also just because, Urban Meyer is a very prideful guy, and I think Mike Vrabel is a very headstrong guy where, he's, can be very set in his ways, I think. So.
Speaking on the subject of Urban Meyer, is Urban Meyer going to be in the NFL next year? Is he going to still be head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
If Jacksonville is smart, then no. But I just don't see it. I think they're hindering Trevor Lawrence. And Urban Meyer has done nothing this season to, garner a second year of being the head coach.
Yeah.
He's going to, if he wants to be back, he's going to make the argument that they used all their draft capital at number one to get TL and that he needs time to build up his team and get his guys and draft his players. I do not believe the Jaguars will get rid of him. I think it's up to him on whether or not he wants to stay. And I would be surprised if he quits because he's going to get an avalanche of crap from everybody for leaving Ohio State because of health reasons, and you don't want to go into the booth, and then all of a sudden you're popping up as an NFL head coach and you're going to quit after a year. Who are you, Nick Saban? All of that stuff's going to happen. I think he's back in Jacksonville next year.
I don't think he cares. I think he just does what he wants to do. I don't really care what he thinks at this point.
Yeah, I really don't think he cares either. He's already been through all this scrutiny and, whatever because of the antics and stuff that happened earlier this season. So, at this point, there's nothing I think that could really phase him to want to, lean one way versus the other. I personally don't really think that he'll quit either, but I think Jacksonville's just had enough. The only reason that he was really brought to, this was a whole new wave of organization that was supposed to come in with Trevor Lawrence and, you get all these, they didn't really get all of these guys, but it was supposed to be a new era for them. And they have done absolutely nothing to, change. Even before Trevor Lawrence got there, they're basically the same team. Because, he hasn't really been great. He hasn't developed at all really this year. And, if Urban Meyer's not going to do anything about it, then you can find somebody else who will. Because the NFL is such a short leash job where, you're not producing, you're going to get fired. And, we'll find somebody else to do your job for you. So I really don't think he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm already thinking who could replace him, did Eric Bieniemy finally get a shot at being a head coach or maybe Brian Dable, but that'd be real rebuilding. And I don't know if I would want to stick him with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of pressure to be on the black coach and have to rebuild something as dysfunctional as what's in Jacksonville as, Urban Meyer is leaving it if he does leave. I don't really think he cares what anybody says. He's left numerous times at this point. I don't really think he cares because if he cared, he wouldn't have left before in the manner that he's left. So
yeah, everybody cares.
I would love to see Bieniemy though. It maybe not. I want to say maybe not in Jacksonville, but honestly, Jacksonville has some talent. I mean, it's not like they're, Trevor Lawrence has the ability to be a really good quarterback in this league. I mean, that's why they took him number 1 overall. They got James Robinson, who's another really good back. I mean, they have some young receivers. DJ Chark isn't really healthy right now. I think he's been out for a few weeks. But even Marvin Jones Jr. is like a nice vet receiver to have on the outside. So there are pieces to build there that I think, maybe you just need the right culture guy. Kind of like the Browns last year.
Buckeyes going to win the Rose Bowl, Caleb?
Oh, I'm not really worried about the Rose Bowl at all, to be honest.
Hey, but they say don't sleep on Utah, though.
I used to love the Rose Bowl. That used to be my favorite bowl game of all of them. And then
I hate to say that I haven't. I mean, yeah, I've been hitting snooze on Utah, to be honest. I would be shocked if Ohio State doesn't just absolutely dominate that game. I think also C.J. Stroud kind of has a chip on his shoulder now just because of what happened at the Heisman,
he got another year.
Oh, yeah,
he'll be in my mind. Yeah, in my mind, they were going to give it to someone else anyway because he's just a sophomore. I mean, he's got another year. Right. The chip he should have on his shoulder is that whole team should have one. You don't finish the year with a loss to Michigan and then a loss in a bowl game. You need to leave me with the good feeling of we at least won the last game of the year and win this bowl game.
I think that's also true. I just feel like as a whole, the guys, I mean, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson have not said anything about not playing yet, right? So I feel like Chris Olave is going to want to play.
This is last year, right? He's coming out for the draft.
Yeah, and if he plays, then Garrett Wilson will play. So as long as I feel like all those guys will be motivated to kind of leave Ohio State on a good, a good note.
This is the last film NFL scouts are going to see, and frankly, they're going to want to see how you bounce back after a loss. They know how bad that loss was to Michigan, emotionally, mentally. They want to see how you bounce back from something like that.
I still ain't over it, and I ain't even playing the game.
I'm not either.
I'm not either.
And for the seniors, that's rough. I think at the same time, this is their future, and this is money. And God forbid you play in the Rose Bowl, which means nothing to anybody, and you get hurt, and you somehow cannot go out for the draft, or it affects your draft status. So I totally get, we won't talk. For me, it's different than not playing in the BCS playoffs or a national championship game. That is a whole different thing. You better put your uniform on and play, Bosa. But a regular bowl game that don't mean nothing, I don't have a problem if they all sit out because they're going to the draft.
Yeah. I mean, Rose Bowl, I guess the Rose Bowl still kind of has some big meaning. I don't know. It's different now.
It still has a parade.
We have higher expectations at the Ohio State University.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a cast-off bowl.
Yeah.
But that used to be, Rachel, that used to be the Big Ten versus Pac-10. There were no playoffs. There was none of that crap. That was the granddaddy of them all. That was one of the top 4 bowl games that everybody lived for.
I think that's what you get, though, when you get the playoff now. I mean,
Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, Citrus Bowl. Those 4 were the big 4. And now they move the playoffs around and take over bowl games and screw it up. So there's not the tradition of Big Ten, Pac-10.
I don't think the Rose Bowl is going to matter again until the playoff expands. And even if the playoff expands, I don't know because it's always been, like you said, Big Ten.
Yeah, it'll never matter because in the years that it's not Big Ten, Pac-10, it rotates into the playoff cycle. As long as there are playoffs, when it mattered is when it was voting that decided the national champion. So you wanted the 2 best teams from these divisions head-to-head in these bowl games, and that was factored into the decision on the national champions when they were strictly voting on it. Now that they're playing, the Rose Bowl will never be what it was.
Yeah, because the way I look at it now, the Rose Bowl is for losers.
Ring or nothing.
So
because you didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. It's a consolation prize.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants that? We go to the Ohio State.
Yeah, we go to national championships every year.
Yeah, I don't championship or bust.
No, I'm playing no losers Rose Bowl.
I mean, against Utah, like what is a Ute? Is a Ute like just someone that's from Utah, or
they better win this game though? That's all I know.
Oh yeah, if we lose, I would still be like very upset. But I'm not. I wouldn't say that the game has really been on my mind, and even like being on campus. I mean, obviously everybody hopes that they win, but there's not a whole lot of buzz surrounding the Rose Bowl right now.
No, but Utah beat Oregon twice, so
A
that's
Ute
something
is
to
a Native
consider.
American tribe.
Okay.
All right,
They're
we
still
respect
named
that.
after them. And my understanding, I actually have a friend on Instagram who we good-naturedly pick on each other during football. He can't stand the Buckeyes, so I know he's a Utah fan. So of course I hit him up when I found out we were playing them, and I asked him some questions. They have a thing with the local Ute tribe, and it is okay with them. So
Okay.
they will not be
That's
changing their
Very
name.
good to know. That is very good to know.
Yeah, I'll be out in Utah actually.
I used to think it
Oh,
was.
really?
I used to think it was because people couldn't say the word youths, like from that movie My Cousin Vinny.
I've never seen that movie.
Youth.
I have
Rachel L. Hill. I add My Cousin Vinny to the list of movies you haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Do you have Netflix? I'm gonna buy you Netflix for Christmas for like 3 months.
Netflix. I have Netflix now because I have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile gives you Netflix for free.
Yes, it does.
So
You got it
have
like built into the deal.
Yeah.
All right,
So
I'm gonna
now
email
I
you
can
a
watch
list of
Netflix.
movies to add to your playlist so that you just pop them in and watch them. Because, girl, how have you not seen My Cousin Vinny?
Girl, there's so many movies I have never seen in my life.
I know, it just always shocks me.
There's a crazy number of movies out there. Like, there's always got to be something that you haven't seen.
Yeah. I've never seen one. I heard it was good. Did it win an Oscar? Or somebody won an Oscar for acting or something? Kate, did somebody win an Oscar? Oh, it was break time.
Marissa Tomei won Best Supporting Female Oscar, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I got to check it out for that good acting. So we're going to go ahead and take our last break, and we're going to get into some NBA action. Cavs play tonight against Miami down here at the Rocket Mortgage. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Long haulers make up 30% of all people infected by COVID.
What's a COVID long hauler?
People referred to as long haulers have a condition called COVID-19 syndrome or long COVID.
I'm like, shit's for losers.
How do you know if you're a long hauler?
Long haulers
it really
are
has
people who have
like,
COVID-19
no buzz on
and have had it for
Yeah.
weeks or even months without fully
We're basketball school, right?
Some long
Was it buzz
haulers
on campus
experience
last year?
continuous symptoms,
National
while
title game?
others
Yeah, I
recover for weeks
I
at a
was home.
time
They said
and
it was home for
relapse
like a
with
long
new
time
and
last
or
year.
old
Oh, yeah.
But I drove back.
What
with
are
my
the
friends,
symptoms?
like, we watched the
The most common
Clemson
long
game
hauler
in the car.
symptoms
Oh,
It
okay.
was
coughing,
so much fun.
all
But everybody
fatigue,
was just going crazy.
body aches,
Yeah,
joint
man.
pain,
I hate
shortness of
Dabo
breath,
with a passion.
loss
Oh,
of
I know.
taste and smell,
I
difficulty
was
sleeping,
still glad to see the
headaches,
Clemson stuff
and
this
brain
year.
Oh, my God.
For more
It's been a
information
sweet
about
justice.
long COVID,
All right, Rachel, you gotta watch my TikTok videos and give me some ideas on some songs to duet or something. I need ideas for new TikTok videos.
I thought it was 6:30 when you said go to break, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with Cleveland Kate and Kayla Blake, rising sophomore at The Ohio State University. Hey, guys, there's a team in town that a lot of people aren't hip to just yet, and they go by the name of Cleveland Cavaliers. They play tonight against the Miami Heat. Did you say Jimmy Butler is not playing? Is that for sure?
Jimmy Butler is out. Let me double check. But
Yes.
I do not think he's playing tonight.
Awesome. Caleb's checking to see if Jimmy Butler is going to be in.
Is officially out, and so
Yes.
is Markieff Morris. So
Yes.
Cavs are favored by 5.5 tonight. I mean, I like our odds at home.
Yeah, DJ Cristal said that it don't matter who ain't playing. The Cavs got this. So, Caleb, what are your thoughts about the Cavs?
Yeah, I mean, we're hot right now. We're on a 3-game win streak since the last time I think I was on here and we talked about the Cavs. But you know what's crazy? I saw something today that said Jared Allen is like 8th in the MVP race right now.
Oh, really?
Like, I mean, now that very well could have just been like hot garbage from like some Cleveland sports fan page. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the way he's playing recently, you got him, Darius Garland. They've both been balling out. I love seeing that connection just get stronger and stronger every game. Evan Mobley is really starting to look like I think he could really run
Rookie
away.
of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think he could really run away with Rookie of the Year as we, get later on into the season. because he just continues to make play after play every game that just your jaw drops. Like against when we played the Bulls last week, that block against Zach Levine. I mean, he just took it out of the air from him. Like he is really proven to be a generational defensive talent, and we got him at number 3 in the draft. Like,
and who did you want?
I wanted Jalen Green. I guess it's about time that I admit that I was really wrong about that. I was talking to my friends about that this week too. Actually, just like, man, like you guys remember when we wanted Jalen Green and we were like, this Evan Mobley dude, but whatever.
I didn't know who I wanted.
I really wanted Jalen Green. I thought he was gonna, even though the Rockets are on a win streak right now without him. Not that there are people on Twitter though, like that are just not that don't watch basketball and that think that he's the reason that they were losing, which just isn't true. But either way, I mean, Mobley was clearly the right choice because I mean we're a competing playoff team right now, which is way ahead of schedule of anything that I would have thought from anyone that we would have drafted. So,
who did DJ Cristales want?
I don't remember actually. I don't remember.
Was it the other Jalen?
Oh, it might have been Jalen Suggs. It might have been Jalen Suggs.
I can't remember, but nobody was talking about Evan Mobley, but he turns out to possibly be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
Kate, what are your thoughts about the Cleveland Cavaliers right now?
Oh, I'm loving the Cavs right now. You know, Houston's coming off, a 2-game losing streak, but I think they won like 6 or 7 in a row before that. So it's not going to be easy, but they're here, right? So that I think that'll make it a little better. They're for the first time in probably since LeBron left, they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch, and I love Evan Mobley so much. I love the defense that he's putting up for a rookie. Like he didn't take any time at all to figure out what's going on. Offensively, rookies don't seem to have trouble scoring. It's picking up how to do the defense, what the differences are between college and the NBA, the size differences. You look at his size now. Imagine what his size is going to be in another couple years when he really builds into his body. So I'm just super excited for the defense we're going to see from him in the future. And when I walk into the living room, my husband's like, "Oh, hey, give me the remote. The Cavs are on tonight." I'm like, "Yes!" Instead of, "Do we have to watch that? Because it's garbage and it's painful and I don't want to see it." They're super fun to watch right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited watching them. Right now, I'm loving watching the emergence and the growth of Darius Garland because I wasn't a huge fan of Darius when he first came out. And I'm like, why did they draft this kid? He's not doing anything, and now his emergence as a team leader, him and Ricky Rubio, man, if it wasn't for these two, I don't know where this team would really be right now. And even Kevin Love, being one of the leaders on this team.
I could hear in your voice how painful it was for you to say something nice about Kevin Love right there. I heard it. I heard it.
I'll give credit where credit is due.
I'm 1 for 1 on the draft. I really wanted Colin Sexton and I really wanted Darius Garland. I'm 1 for 1.
I forgot that Darius that Colin Sexton was on this team.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was a big Darius Garland guy. Like I wanted Garland. But I don't know. I love watching him play now. I think a lot of the thing after his rookie year was his defense was just such a big issue. I'm pretty sure he had the worst plus minus, or it was some ridiculous stat from his rookie year. But clearly he's made the strides from year 1 to year 2, and now we're in year 3. He's really showing to be, like you said, a true leader. I think Ricky Rubio also being kind of a mentor to him, but also being a real contributor on this team is something that no one really could have expected when you looked at, when we traded for him in the offseason. I remember I was like,
what we get Ricky Rubio from?
Yeah, like how we just traded for a backup point guard? Like why? But with
I was afraid he didn't want to be here. And I have been critical a lot of JB Bickerstaff and the way
you have
and all them people are running this. I have been critical. But I will say this, they found a way to get Rubio to buy in and to give 150% and to be a lead. Like whatever magic they wove, he has been an absolute stud and he has been amazing in so many ways for this team. And I didn't see it coming.
They said at that game on Friday in Minneapolis that the people came to watch Ricky Rubio play.
Yeah.
I think Ricky's, usually wherever he goes, he's kind of I think he's a fan favorite kind of guy.
Yeah.
He never complains. He's always out in the community and stuff like that. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I like Ricky.
Like I said, I was just afraid he was just going to, mind his business and put his time in and just keep his head down and just suffer through whatever time he needed to be here. And instead, he's been outstanding.
Well, I think the veterans have recognized this good young core, that they can build around and they can contribute to. So I think they get energized off of that. Always a paycheck helps as well. But what about the emergence of Isaac Okoro as well, as they're working extra early to get him involved in the game offensively, because we just pretty much know him as a defensive player, but seeing him give his all offensively, get started in early in the games and work hard in the offensive space. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Isaac as well, because sometimes when he got the ball in his hands, he struggles to score, but he's had an emergence lately.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely shooting the ball better as of late. He's also just very explosive. Like, I feel like that was the one part of his game that kind of was offensively in college at Auburn. He was a very good slasher. I mean, that's why he was drafted 5th overall. That in addition to his excellent defense, but I mean, his past 3 games, he's been getting more minutes. When he started against Minnesota and against Sacramento, and he's had 9, 16, and 20. I mean, which is something that we don't even really need him to do. Like, this team didn't draft Isaac Okoro to be a scorer, yet he's finding ways to produce that, we didn't really expect going into this. And if he's going to be able to produce at this level, I mean, the sky is the limit for this team, because they're just so young. And I mean, they're all under 23 years old. You got Garland, Okoro, Mobley, and Jared Allen. Like,
23.
And even Lauri Markkanen's like, nah,
yeah.
He's a great piece that we added this offseason, and he's not, too old either. So I'm very excited to see where we can go, because I don't know a team that you can really compare this team to, like, within recent memory. At first, I thought we'd be kind of like the Hawks when they were like 60 wins, like Jeff Teague, and then we would just have LeBron just come in and steamroll them, in the playoffs. But I think this team has more potential than that team, just because of, like, one, they're younger now, and they have like some superstar ability. I think Darius Garland and Mobley specifically can be like 2 really, really good superstars in the league, but we'll see what happens.
Marshawn has mentioned, he ain't chimed in, but I know one thing he has talked about is about the Cavs possibly pursuing Karis LeVert from the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, I love that.
Really? But who you want to give up,
Karis
though?
LeVert.
No, see, that's the part.
Look, I honestly, if we could find a way to keep like Garland, Mobley, and Allen, then I would be fine with that.
You have to keep them.
You got to keep those 3. But I think Karis LeVert is way better than a lot of people realize. Like, I thought with Indiana that was going to kind of be his like breakout, team and whatnot. But I mean, he got hurt and he had his I believe he had like a heart condition or something last year, and which kind of prohibited him from playing. But I really do think Karis LeVert is like that guy. I think he is such a great scorer. He's got great size. He's so smooth. Like, I'm all in on that. Like, all of them.
Yeah, you had to break up that core you got a little bit. Somebody got to go.
If Isaac Okoro had to go, like,
listen, they ain't going.
I love Isaac Okoro, but I think Karis LeVert can beat that guy in this league.
For Isaac Okoro all day. Yeah, he can go.
And
no, he's getting to 8 points a game. He is super close to getting double digits on average for points, and I didn't expect that from him. His biggest problem on the offensive side is his free throw percentage is down around 75%. Dude, if you're going to play that kind of defense and you're going to take fouls, you got to be up in the 80s on your free throw percentage. If he could do that, he'd be hitting double digits a game.
How many points Karis LeVert average?
Oh, I don't know how many, but I was going to say the last thing I'll say about Karis is he can give you 20 on any night, like any night consistently.
Well, if Okoro can bump his number up into the double digits and improve it into 80% or better on free throws, then they might make a trade for him.
Kate don't want to let go, but sometimes we got to let go, Kate.
I know, but
great.
The value got to be there, though. For them to want him, he's got to up his game to go.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody listening. Kate and Caleb, thank you so much. You've listened to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. We are out of here.